Ladies and gentlemen, the leader of the Democrat Party was caught crying on a leaked phone call because the party is historically unpopular, he can't raise any money from donors, and using his words, nobody respects him and he's failing at his job. It's not hyperbole when I say the Democrat Party is the party of weak, effeminate men, and this video will illustrate perfectly why no self-respecting man wants to be associated with the Democrat Party. All of this embarrassing chaos is happening while the Democrat Party is hosting a party summer camp in Minneapolis, or Little Somalia as I like to say, showing they've learned absolutely nothing from their devastating 2024 loss and are instead just going to double down on the exact same strategies that made them historically unpopular. As always, like the video and subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 400,000 subscribers. But let's start with this clip showing how they kicked off their Democrat summer camp, reminding everybody in attendance just how evil America is because we're all on stolen land.
Bonjour, Lindy Salmek Nindichnikaz, Amek Dodam, Saginaw Chippewa Dojaba, Anishinaabe Kwe and Dow. Good morning, DNC members, friends, and relatives. Let's talk about the land for a second. The DNC acknowledges and honors the Dakota Oyate, the Dakota people, who are the original stewards of the lands and waters of Minneapolis. The Dakota cared for the lands, lakes, and the Wakatonka, the Great River, the Mississippi River, for thousands of years before colonization. This land was not claimed or traded. It's a part of a history of broken treaties and promises. And in many ways, we still live in a system built to suppress Indigenous peoples' cultural and spiritual history.
How have they not realized that their unpatriotic self-hatred is not popular with the American people? This is the definition of virtue signaling. They're trying to show how compassionate and empathetic they are, because simply stating that they care about a thing gets them their desired applause and adoration from their friends. And it makes them feel like such a good person, and then that's the end of it. They don't have to actually offer a real solution to the problem they supposedly care so much about. Okay, you believe the land's stolen, so what? Are you planning on giving it back? What is the point of even acknowledging this problem? They're pretending that the tribe that we supposedly stole the land from didn't also steal it from somebody else. The Democrat mind can't fathom that anybody else besides the United States won land in war and conquest. Because in the Democrat worldview, that's uniquely a white problem and the predication for their obsession with white guilt. The Democrats are so beholden to these various small, extremely outspoken victim status groups who get all of their self-worth from screaming about how America and white people and capitalism are systemically evil and need to be destroyed and dismantled. And unfortunately for the Democrats, that philosophy turns off a vast majority of American voters. And that's how you get this situation where the head of the Democrat National Committee is caught crying because he's so frustrated that him and the party are failing terribly. Take a look.
No one knows who the hell I am, right? I'm trying to get my sea legs underneath of me and actually develop any amount of credibility so I can go out there and raise the money and do the job I need to put ourselves in a position to win. And again, I don't think you intended this, but you essentially destroyed any chance I have to show the leadership that I need to. So it's really frustrating.
Sounds a little emotional there at the end.
They got rid of the wrong person.
Now let me just be clear. This man isn't weak because he's crying. Men can cry. This man is weak because instead of leading his party, as is his job, pulling them out of the gutter, stop listening to these radical lunatics on the far left, doing what needs to be done to get this party back on track, make it an appealing investment for donors. The man just wants to cry about it. He's crying about not being respected instead of going out there and gaining respect. He's crying about his problems instead of fixing his problems. The Democrats need a man with a vision, with conviction, who is assertive, who isn't afraid of getting scolded by the woke left, who is going to take charge and will the party to victory. But the problem is, over the last decade, they systematically exiled and eradicated anybody who might have any of those characteristics because they called them toxic. They glorified soft, passive, agreeable, effeminate behavior. And if you were a man and wanted to be accepted into the Democrat Party, you had to fit that mold. Otherwise, they would consider you an evil, violent barbarian. If you're white and want to be a Democrat, you have to hate yourself, to be ashamed of yourself, to disavow anything about your history or heritage or culture as good, and proclaim every other racial group is better than you. And that's why they pedestalize women of color so much in the Democrat Party, because all of them are hyper-masculine, obnoxious, assertive, aggressive people. And all of the white men who are left in the party are nothing but these dainty, passive soy boys. And that's why you have this clip from the Democrat summer camp of the leader of the DNC, who you just heard crying, trying to rile the crowd up and get them energized, and failing in the most humiliating way. You guys are going to love this. Watch.
So Democrats are kicking off their summer meeting in the city of Minneapolis, but amidst the party's struggles on multiple fronts, the focus was on launching attacks against President Trump and the MAGA base. And let's just say it got off to a less than smooth start. Take a listen.
Good morning. Good morning, Democrats. We need more. Paul, I need more sound. Good morning. Good morning, Democrats.
Like his body language, his voice, it's insecure, it's timid, it's unconfident, it's fearful. He doesn't want the crowd to portray him as some misogynist white supremacist with his energy and passion. He must be feeble and apologetic because he is a white man, and those are the two most horrible things you can be, according to a Democrat. Real men are driven by ambition and conviction and duty. They're not worried about what other people might think of them. They're not interested in being perpetual people pleasers, especially when those same people openly admit that they hate you regardless of what you do, simply because you were born with fair skin and a pair of balls. The vibe of the Democrat Party is boring and bleak. Being a Democrat means being miserable and pessimistic and depressed. And the reason Republicans are surging is because Trump made being a Republican about fun, family, and freedom. Here's Jesse Waters on The Five explaining that in a beautiful way.
This is like Trump, and he's running for class president. And his opponent is some nerd who's running on democracy and egalitarianism. And Trump gets out in front of the entire studio class and just says, "We're bringing back Taco Tuesday." And the whole crowd goes crazy. And then he says, "And you know what? We're going to have a salad bar for the ladies." And the ladies are like, "All right." And he goes, "And we're going to have hair and makeup professionally done for the cheerleaders, because our cheerleaders are the hottest." And everyone's going crazy. And his opponent's like, "Well, that's sexist." And he goes, "Oh, and by the way, we're going to have prom at my dad's country club."
Yes, MAGA is the cool kids table. It's a coalition of all different races, of people who just want to have fun and be proud being American. It's full of guys who don't feel like apologizing for being men and being interested in the things men are interested in. We like being strong and courageous and brave and speaking what's on our mind, going against the grain, rubbing people the wrong way sometimes, not overthinking, leading with action. And to improve on Jesse's analogy, the Democrats aren't the nerds. The Democrats are the theater kids. Because the nerds hate the cool kids because they're not them. They're the ones getting all the girls. They're the ones with all the popularity, having all the fun. The nerds want to be that. It's the theater kids who hate the cool kids because they think that they're better than them because they're more woke. They're more compassionate. They acknowledge the stolen land. Their only ways to appeal to the women are to tell the women that they understand how hard they have it, and guys are so evil and awful and oppressive. That the cool kids are thriving in a broken system that rewards exploitation, misogyny, supremacy. And the only reason they're not cool is because the system's broken. Not because they're insufferable pessimists who criticize everything or hate everything or make excuses for all their shortcomings, blame everybody else except for themselves. And that's the point with their stolen land acknowledgement. They want to label label the very foundation of our entire country's history as villainous, as evil, because then it gives them the moral justification to criticize everything that's come after that. Well, the foundation's bad, so the whole house has to come down. That's the Democrat philosophy. And most people aren't revolutionaries who want to see the system burn because they're so insecure and upset that they weren't able to succeed on their own merits within it. And the person at the cool kids table was. But let's listen to former Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy say that both the Democrat National Committee chair and Hakeem Jeffries need to be fired from their leadership roles.
He should have resigned if he felt that way. He's the leader and he's crying, nobody knows me, and you said I can't now do my job. And all they've done is fight internally and remove a young person. He may disagree with them, but they eliminated extra voices. This is what they've done to fail themselves, that they pick who their nominee is instead of allowing them to have a normal primary. The number one thing they should do, change what they have been doing. Stop putting the losers out front. I'd change their current leadership. Hakeem can't make a decision. The new leader is going to be this new socialist mayor. And what I would go out there and do and be authentic. If he thinks he's not the leader, then let somebody else who really wants to be the leader lead them, because otherwise they're going nowhere and they're paying off the debt from the last person who only ran for 107 days.
Donald Trump won because he listened to the concerns of the people and didn't judge them for it. Instead, he said, I will solve this problem for you. The Democrats will ignore the concerns of the voters, or they'll try to shame them into not having the concerns at all by just calling them a bigot. The voters wanted Bernie Sanders in 2016. What did they do? Gave him Hillary Clinton. They knew Joe Biden was a brain-dead dud, and instead of having a primary and letting the voters pick their candidate, they anointed Kamala Harris, one of the worst politicians we've ever seen in American history. The Democrat establishment has an agenda that they want to implement, and it's not up for discussion. It's not up for debate. People have to get on board with it. Their stolen land acknowledgement highlights that they haven't moved at all from where they were in 2024. And that's why it's so important, despite all this positive momentum, we go out and vote in these 2026 elections. We cannot allow the Democrat Party to regain control because woke isn't dead yet. Woke is hibernating. The Democrats will implement the same level of cultural and institutional control if they regain power. The Democrat Party is on its deathbed, yes, but we can't assume that they're just going to go gentle into the good night. We have to pull the plug ourselves. Here's Hakeem Jeffries saying he's not worried about Republican redistricting because Trump is so unpopular and Democrats are so popular. They're going to win the midterms no matter what. But then also says Democrats need to gerrymander to stop Republicans from stealing the midterms.
In Texas, this is a racial, partisan gerrymander ordered by Donald Trump as part of an effort to rig the midterm elections. And we're not going to let it happen. And at the end of the day, we were 24 seats down during Donald Trump's first midterm election in 2018. We won 40 seats in 2018. There's no way that Republicans can mathematically gerrymander their way to an artificial victory next year.
I recently saw a report that said if every Republican state that had the ability to redraw districts before the 2026 midterms did so, and every blue state that was able to do it also did it, the Republicans would still win 8 seats in the House. There is no amount of Democrat redistricting that is possible that can combat what the Republicans can do. So what's the point of them doing it at all? If what Hakeem Jeffries said is true, that the American people are going to run to the Democrats to save them because Trump is so unpopular, why would you need to erode your own principled stance that gerrymandering is bad, it's wrong, it's undemocratic, and engage in the same behavior you're criticizing only for it not to even make a difference? It's because he knows they're gravely unpopular, and this midterm isn't going to go as it historically does. I think the Democrats picked up 40 seats in the midterms during Trump's first administration. They're down like 6 or 7 seats right now. If Republicans gerrymandered another 10 or 11, they'd be down 18. But if they got another 40-point swing, none of that would matter. They would still win. It's because they're not anticipating that 40-seat swing. They see the writing on the wall. They know they have to grasp for straws. They know they have to expose themselves as being hypocrites and also gerrymander. And that's why Hakeem perfectly exemplifies the problem with Democrat leadership. All they do is lie, and then they lack confidence in their lie. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Turn on those notification bells so you never miss a video. And I will see you guys in the next one.